Hello, okay, old school comics review. I'm just gonna ramble. This one is Moebius for The Long Tomorrow and Other Science Fiction Stories. This was originally published by Marvel Comics back in the late 80s and was part of their original graphic novel series. The art is by, the art is by Moebius, which is his pen name. His real name is Gene Gerald. I guess that's how you say that. But he would sign all of his art either Mobius or GIR. Um, the stories here are mostly kind of pseudo science fictiony type stories and like fantasy stories. These are all from mostly for the most part these stories originally saw print back in the 70s, and they're really it's really interesting stuff. It's really kind of different if you grew up on American comics, so it's a little bit different. The tone is alternatively lighthearted, some of it's grim, but it's not too gritty and not too off-putting. Some of the stories have kind of this sort of kind of twisted, ironic twist ending and things like that. The first story is called The Long Tomorrow, and it was co-written by Dan O'Bannon, who I believe worked on the original screenplay for the first Alien movie. Sigourney Weaver and the alien popping out of the guy's chest and all that. All the other stories were written and drawn by Moebius by himself. It's a real interesting change of pace. The artwork is really marvelous though. Moebius is a great draftsman. Some of the stories are kind of lighthearted and kind of cartoony. Other stories are really detailed. You have kind of a clean line. There's lots of shading and subtle cross hatching. None of it looks flat. Uh, Really dynamic, really interesting designs and things like that. Here's another thing for you. If anybody saw the original animated heavy metal movie from the early 80s, one of the stories was called The Legend of Tarna or something like that. That story was not based on any Moebius stories, but the art design was based on his art. So you see the buildings, the clothes that people wear, some of the bird-like creatures and things like that. Those are directly influenced by work that Moebius has done. I think most people in America know Moebius from the stuff that was reprinted in a magazine called Heavy Metal, which was the American version of a magazine called Metal Hurlant. And same thing. They're mostly science fiction and fantasy stories. They still publish heavy metal, but I haven't seen Moebius in any of that stuff since well over like 10 or 15 years. Um, I would recommend this to anybody who's into like who anybody wants a change of pace. If you want science fiction that's not um, Star Wars, or that's not kind of hardcore stuff like you know William Gibson or whatever. It is a different take on the whole fantasy genre. Now this edition here is way out of print. Um, I would say you'd probably have to go online, look for it on eBay or Amazon or something like that. Maybe if you have a brick and mortar comic book store near you that's well stocked, you might be able to find it in their back issue bins or whatever. But you'll have to search for it. Let's see here. But anyway, yeah, I would say if you've got time to check it out, hunt it down or whatever, because it's really marvelous. Marvel did, let's see here, I think something like 5 or 6 collections of Mobius's artwork. So no, I think yeah, something like 6 or 7. He's done these stories. He's also done Western stories. Uh, how would I describe it? I mean, if you've ever seen anything like Tintin, it's kind of like Tintin crossed with more Western. Well, that's still Western civilization, but it's really different. It's really interesting. Like I said, a lot of the stories in this particular issue have the kind of ironic twist ending, but it's never off-putting. And just check it out. Once again, I got to thank you very much for listening. Leave whatever comments. Tell me what you think. If I'm right, if I'm wrong. Got to thank you very much, and you have a great one.